I want to know the bagua for diseases.
For diseases. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll start and just interrupt me when you need to ask a question, or if what I'm talking to you about you already know. So if we look at the basic with the bagua, the fundamentals of it is to understand the trigrams. So what do you know about this trigram?
It's a trigram from a bladder and the kidney, I think.
Yep. No. It's in system 3. It's the urinary bladder and gallbladder, and this is Fushi's gua. Fushi, and then in system 1, it's the Jew vessel. And in some ways that's related. Well, that's actually not related, but that's okay. So, so what do you think this hectogram? What sort of diseases do you think this trigram might be associated to?
Yin, yin, yin. To balance this.
You can use yin, yin, yin as an inverse. So that what we talked about in the video, where inverse applications are used to help people get a 360-degree vision. So if they're stuck in what I call a loop, they're stuck in some traumatic experience and can't see a different way of interacting, then for urinary bladder we can consider using the kidney, and for gallbladder we consider using the liver meridian. So just the fact that we use these two meridians to balance the other person means we can support. Now, what do you think might be a UB pathology? In regard to this
for the fever, high fever, I think, like that.
So high fever as related to Shanghai external attack. Yeah. So we'd have to differentiate that high fever. So we call that fever and chills. Yeah. Because we have to differentiate that from the high fever of a Yang Ming component. So it's more related to Shanghai attack. Yeah, what else?
I don't think now.
That's okay. So if you remember in the Fushi Gua, the Trigram of Qian relates to the head. So any head pathologies, we can consider the use of the urinary bladder and all of its balancing systems. So its balancing systems, as you know, small intestine, lung and kidney are the 3 meridians we can primarily use, or the urinary bladder itself. So we've got 4 options there with if we want to incorporate the Trigram of Qian. The fact that it's also the Jew vessel, it means that we can relate any pathologies on the back as well. What do you think? What do you think the qualities of Yang might be?
Low back pain, mid back pain, upper back pain.
Yeah, back pain. Any back pain, we can think of the Trigram of Qian.
And back pain. Yeah.
And with the 3 Yang lines, what type of behaviour do you think a person might show if they had lots and lots of Yang?
I don't understand the question. Sorry.
Okay.
My English is
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Well, my Greek's worse, so you're doing well, I reckon. Yeah. So when you've got three yang lines, when we look at it on a mental level, we could say there's some level of hyperactivity, so excessive activity. So we can look at any mental states that have some form of mania involved. The Trigram of Qian also relates to a father principle. So if you're treating any clients that have, you could say, trauma related to the connection to their father, we can think about using the Trigram of Qian.
Sorry. Trauma from father.
Yeah.
And
and a simple way we can use that, well, it's not that simple, but let me just go through another stage.
And psychological trauma.
Sorry, I didn't understand that, Lucas.
Psychological trauma from father.
Yeah, like a trauma for father might be father was alcoholic, or there was some level of abuse that went down with the father, or there's some difficulty in the current relationship with father. We think about the Trigram of Qian. And if we look at these are the four yang. And when we looked at the numbering, this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of these trigrams, the lines in them, they're odd numbers, and odd is yang. And then here we have father. Here we have eldest son, middle son, and youngest son. And that also means young men, middle-aged men, and older men. And then when we look at the yin trigrams, we have mother, and then eldest daughter. I'll just put eldest daughter, middle daughter, and youngest daughter. So a simple way, if a client comes in specifically and they have traumatic experience with their father, then we can place the father trigram underneath, and we can choose the gender. So we got the 4 yin and even. So we can choose the gender around the age of the person, or around their position in the family. So if they were born the eldest daughter, we could put the trigram of Shun wind above it. And then we might see that that's a urinary bladder 64. So are you familiar with converting the meridian points into a hexagram? Do you know how I got urinary bladder 64 from this hexagram?
I don't remember. I don't have. I don't remember. No.
Okay, that's okay.
I know that this is
yeah, that's no problem. So the ability to transfer information into treatment principle relies on you understanding what the trigrams represent. Actually, let's just get rid of some of that. And that takes a little bit of study. Because it's kind of like knowing what a meridian is. You know, when we know what a meridian is and what it does, we can use it to treat something. And it's the same with the principles here. So one of the first things to learn is the eight primary hexagrams. Let's come back. I'll get that first. So when you look at this chart then, Lucas, you've got a diagonal line from number 11 all the way through to number 88.
Yes.
And you'll notice this means that the trigram of 1 represented in the double 1 is put on top of each other. So we have 2 trigrams there of Qian. Yeah. The same with the 22. It's the doubling up of Jue Lake. Same with 33, 44. So it's a doubling of the hexagram, of the trigram into the hexagram shape. And these are called the 8 primary hexagrams.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're related to the meridians as well. So that's part of the study. So get really familiar with UBGB is 6 lines, 6 yang lines. Heart pericardium is yang yang yin, yang yang yin. So that's stage 1. So just remember to start to get that in your head. The next thing you need to do with that, once you've got your, we'll stick with urinary bladder and gallbladder at the moment. So once you have your 6 lines, then what you have to put into that is your 5 element points plus the yang yuan. So 5 element points on the UB start at 67, 66, 65, 64, 60 and 40. And in regards to gallbladder, we have 44, 43, 41, 40, 38 and 34. When you know that, then you can put this hexagram of Qian next to any other hexagram and see what the difference are in the polarity of the lines. So if we use that example I gave earlier, where we got father underneath and eldest daughter or a middle-aged lady, we can see that the only line that is not in the same polarity is this line. So this is the fourth
line.
The fourth line, yeah. And when we come up the points on
64
the
and 40.
That's right. Yep. So if we needle bladder 64 or 40, we're going to create this hexagram shape. So this is called familial trigram diagnosis. So it's where we use the family connections through father, eldest son, middle son, etc., to create a balance of a particular symptom. And then we also, you can think of the elements. So here we have wood over metal. Now, so then you have to, you don't have to think, but you can consider what wood over metal does. You know, what sort of relationship, what's actually occurring in that situation. And in the type of acupuncture I do, I always look at the mental and emotional aspects. So for wood, we have the spirit of the Hun. We also have liver, gallbladder. Dr. Tan also includes in that pericardium Sanjiao, although that could be also query fire. But we have the wood component, and what the wood is related to is spring and new life. So when we're placing a wood hexagram, a wood trigram over a metal one, we're asking that the metal element be given some new life. And the metal is the Po, yeah, and lung and large intestine. So from this aspect, spring and new life acting on metal, and metal is also related to autumn. So we have to think of the qualities of autumn. So the first quality of autumn is acceptance of abundance. And the abundance is the preceding seasons of spring and summer and late summer that have produced all the fruit and the food, and it's come to the stage of autumn. So autumn, in order to require acceptance and abundance, it has to turn around with gratitude. So basically, at that point, it turns around, it looks at all that's come before it, gives thanks and appreciation for everything that's brought them to this stage in their life. And then the third component of metal and autumn is to cut off the waste. So in regard to, so let's just say we continue with that theme of the eldest daughter over the father from a traumatic experience. Part of what this hexagram can do is it help a person accept what's been before. So it's to start to release the program and to actually be grateful for all that they've been given, and then to work out in their life what it is that they need to cut in order to move on toward new growth. And that effect is going to come through that hexagram just through the kneeling of the point 64 or 40. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is reasonably heavy stuff. So you know, there's a lot of background information.
I understand this. I understand this.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. All right. So we'll skip that for a sec, and then we'll